Burlington City Council. This is meeting number 10 for the year. It's May 18th, 2026, 5:30 p.m. We're here in the Thomas J. Smith Council Chambers, City Hall, 400 Washington Street. Would you all please rise and join me for the pledge? And I know you scouts know. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God, that sounded great. Having a full room. That's exciting.
And televised.
Yes.
Thank you. Roll call.
Billups,
Here.
Kreitzer,
Here.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
All right, we're going to start with 3 proclamations tonight. The first one is for the 100th anniversary of Camp Eastman. And we have a lot of scouts in attendance. So this one reads, proclamation says, whereas the city of Burlington desires to recognize Scouting America, and whereas we further desire to recognize the 100th anniversary of Camp Eastman from May 21st, 1926 to May 21st, 2026. And whereas we further desire to recognize to the Burlington Rotary Club for their original involvement, the selection of the site, and seeking out access to the property for the youth of our community. And whereas we further desire to recognize Mr. and Mrs. E.P. Eastman, who were frequent and dedicated supporters of Camp Eastman. And whereas Camp Eastman has provided thousands of area youth and adults with outdoor experiences, leadership training, and memorable events and activities. And now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Burlington, Iowa, do hereby celebrate the 100th anniversary of Camp Eastman. And it's our heart's reservation. We also support and encourage all who have ever been there to return for this anniversary celebration and to view the many improvements made to Camp Eastman and to see what a very special place it has become for so many. Signed and sealed this 18th day of May 2026, attested by Katie Music, City Clerk, and signed by John Billups, Mayor. Council, can we get everybody up front, all the scouts? We'll just fill up this
A wide
area
angle?
here. We'll take the high spot. All right. After we're done with the photos, we want to say a few words before we Okay. Come on, fill in. Katie, you might stand in the back. There. High five. Get up there. All right, switch together like we're all friends. I wasn't moving in front of you here. I promise. Okay, who's taking the photo? We'll look there.
Ready? Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Up in the back. Now everybody remember where their seats are?
Right.
My name is Scott Sullivan. I'm the Scoutmaster Troop 3 here in Burlington, Iowa, and we'd like to thank Mayor Billups, the City Council members, and the City of Burlington for recognizing the 100th anniversary of Camp Eastman for this proclamation. The connection between Burlington and Camp Eastman goes back to the very beginning in 1926. Members of the Burlington Rotary Club came down the Mississippi River and discovered the property that would become the camp. Originally known as Camp Burrow, made from Burlington Rotary, the camp has been deep in Burlington's roots for the past 100 years. In 1930, the camp was renamed Camp Eastman after Mrs. E.P. Eastman of Burlington purchased additional land and helped secure the camp's future. In 1935, she funded the construction of Eastman Lodge, which still exists and is used today. For the last century, thousands of young people from southeast Iowa and the surrounding communities have spent time at Camp Eastman, learning leadership, outdoor skills, teamwork, and service, and it has always been more than just a scout camp. Churches, youth organizations, and school districts, including the Burlington Community School District, have used the camp to provide outdoor experiences. On August 29th, Camp Eastman will hold its 100th anniversary celebration, where hundreds of longtime members will come back to remember their memories from that time. And they will be opening a time capsule that was placed in 2001 that will be opened that day as well. Again, thank you for the proclamation.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right. Next proclamation is for Preservation Month, accepted by Stephanie Breakville. I don't see her. Okay, so we'll get it to her. Look, there's a lot of people there. That's why I was scanning. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, and enhancing districts and communities, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. Historic preservation is relevant for the communities across the nation, both urban, rural, and for Americans of all ages and all walks of life and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by the dedicated individuals in helping preserve the tangible aspects of heritage that has shaped us as a people. Whereas Burlington has an abundance of historic treasures, including the national and local register properties, and the Burlington Historic Preservation Commission promotes preservation of historic landmarks and historic districts within the city of Burlington. And whereas all people are created equal is the theme of the National Historic Preservation Month in 2026, as co-sponsored by the City of Burlington Historic Preservation Commission and the National Trust for Historic Preservation. This year, the United States marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence as we celebrate historic sites, neighborhoods, landmarks that tell the American story. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Burlington, Iowa, do hereby proclaim May 26 as Historic Preservation Month in the City of Burlington and call upon the people of Burlington to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance. Signed and sealed this 18th day of May 2026, attested by Katie Music, our city clerk, and signed by me, John Billups, Mayor. Congratulations to the preservation. I think that's really fitting that is read tonight, given the 100th birthday of Camp Eastman. And just last year, we celebrated the 100th birthday of this building. So that's really cool. Next up is a proclamation for EMS medical services accepted by our very own Chief Toops. Proclamation reads, whereas emergency medical services, EMS, is a vital public service that provides life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas EMS practitioners, including paramedics, EMTs, dispatchers, nurses, physicians, and other healthcare professionals are trained to respond rapidly and effectively in emergency situations. Whereas EMS personnel are often the first point of contact in any medical emergency and play a critical role in the health, safety, and well-being of our community. And whereas these dedicated professionals demonstrate compassion, professionalism, and courage while delivering high-quality care under often stressful and unpredictable conditions. And whereas the members of the Burlington Fire Department exemplify the highest standards of public service through their commitment to excellence and continuous training, compassion, community engagement, and accountability. And whereas Emergency Medical Services Week provides an opportunity to recognize the value and the accomplishments of EMS providers and to raise the awareness about the essential services they provide. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Burlington, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through May 23rd as 2026 as Emergency Medical Services Week. In Burlington, Iowa, with the official theme of improving outcomes together and encourage all citizens to join in honoring the EMS professionals in our community whose care and commitment ensure that no one is ever alone in their time of need. Signed and sealed this 18th day of May 2026, attested by Katie Music, City Clerk, and signed by John Billups, Mayor.
Sure, do you want to get a picture?
Oh, yeah,
Gonna
yeah.
say, I was
Okay. Well, I was.
Another large group.
Oh, yeah, I
like,
forgot.
yeah. Hello, world.
Another large one, sorry, I forgot. Good.
Thank you guys.
Sorry, Mr. Ruben. All right, all you tall guys are gonna have to go to the back. Here, I'll stand back here. I'll look taller next to Tim.
Katie has the camera.
You ready?
All right.
I'll let some of the room clear out before I say
Sure.
anything.
Thank you all for coming tonight.
They saw the opportunity and they took it.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I have a couple things to go around, and with all due respect, I'd like to turn around and address the firefighter medics, if that's
Please.
okay. So,
Absolutely. Nice.
as I said, a couple things to go around. First is with you, the firefighters and paramedics that are in the room tonight. For those of you in the room, this is, I think I count 10 or 11 here. This makes up a shift minimum, so this should be the entirety of today's shift, if I'm not mistaken. So this is who you got working tonight, for 24 hours, taking all those calls. Every time you hear a siren go up and down the streets, tearing through town, this is the crew that's handling it today, and they've been doing it since 8 a.m. Some of that proclamation you heard, a lot of positive character traits, a lot of truths. I don't have anything written down, and a lot of this proclamation said a lot of important things, and it's absolutely the truth. But I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I've been thinking and feeling as your chief. We've seen a rise in call volume lately. That's hard to handle. Our average calls right now throughout town are 17.2. That's a lot of calls. And a majority of those calls are EMS. So that's 85% of what you do on a daily basis and throughout the year is EMS. That's the ambulance ripping through town. So thank you for that service. As rewarding and fulfilling as a career that you've chosen, it's also on the opposite end a profession that can chip away at you, in the opposite way of how a reward feels, right? It can take away parts of you, and it's hard to explain that. It's hard for me to explain that to the community. But thank you for your service. I'm so proud to be your chief. I can't tell you how many times on a daily basis or throughout the weekends somebody comes up to me and says a positive thing about the fire department. And that's not from me. That's from the crews out there doing the work in the trenches. So thank you. I said a couple things, so a couple more things. Thanks to you all as well. We do see and feel the support from our council. Tonight's proof of that. We have a public hearing. We're going to be voting on our 6th ambulance, and that wouldn't happen without your thoughtful consideration and approval. So thank you. Last thanks is thanks to our community that's listening tonight, and I know you guys have all heard them. Again, another reason, important thing for tonight's public hearing, and we could discuss Station 3, but we wouldn't be tonight where we are tonight or here in the coming weeks without our community's support. So we do feel and see the overwhelming support that we have from the community, And again, I'm so proud to represent these men and women standing behind me. And I know that they're just going to show up to every call because that's what they do. And they do an awesome job at that. So thank you all. And I'll quit talking and let this meeting get on tonight. So firefighters, medics, you're free to go. You don't have to hang around any further, but thank you all.
Thank you all so much.
On your way out, guys, I just want to say I know that there's people in our lives that are here because you guys are too. And I saw some nodding heads out there that were agreeing with everything that Chief Toops said, but we sincerely appreciate everything you do. It's not an easy job, and you guys are the best folks to do it. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you all so much.
Thankful they didn't have any calls during that. Give them a little bit of a
That's
break.
pretty-
They would have had to use the stairs.
We were going to have a presentation that's on the agenda from Dankworth Tennis Court upgrades, but they could not make it tonight, so we'll be doing that later. Now would be the time for comments from the audience. If there is someone in the audience that has something they want to address with council that's not on the agenda, would be the appropriate time to come forward. The procedure is you come to the lectern and give us your name and address and your issue, about 3-4 minutes, and we'll hear you out. We may not be able to discuss it because it's not published, but we'd sure like to hear it. So is there anyone that has any thoughts or concerns in the audience? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next up is consent agenda. All matters listed under item 1, consent agenda, have been discussed or considered to be routine by city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired about an item, that will be removed from the consent and will be considered separately yet tonight. On the consent agenda, we have minutes of previous meetings, payroll and city claims, beer, liquor, wine, and cigarette permits, reports and bonds. We have 9 resolutions on the consent. The first is a resolution approving the purchase of a Type 1 ambulance for the Burlington Fire Department. Number 2 is a resolution approving fund transfers for fiscal year 2027. Number 3 is a resolution establishing solid waste fees effective July 1st, 2026. Number 4 is a resolution amending sewer user fees effective July 1st, 2026. Number 5 is a resolution amending the stormwater utility system fees effective July 1st, 2026 pursuant to Chapter 100.7 of the Burlington City Code. Number 6 is a resolution approving scepter hauler fees effective July 1st, 2026. Number 7 is a resolution of support for the transit program Kids Ride Free. Number 8 is a resolution extending the maturity date of the city's sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement anticipation project note. Number 9 is a resolution supporting the submission of the Iowa Economic Development Authority, IDA, application to the Workforce Housing Tax Credit Program by Westbrook Meadows, LLC at the Westbrook Meadows subdivision. And we're setting the date for a public hearing for June 1st, 2026, and that'll be a consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 65.05 of the Burlington, Iowa Code of Ordinances concerning impoundment of animals running at large, abused, or neglected. And lastly, we have 2 appointments on pending. One is the Civil Service Commission, Mary Saxon, and the other one is Low Rent Housing Agency. There's actually 2 for that, Samantha Ripple and Jerry Johnson. Thank you to those folks for their service. Is there anything on the consent agenda anyone would like removed and discussed separately? Council, is there anyone that would like anything removed and discussed separately? Hearing none. An
Your
entertained motion.
Honor, I have a motion to approve all items listed under item 1 consent agenda.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes,
Wilson,
Aye.
Hearings. First is consideration of fiscal year 2025, 2026 budget amendment number 1. Mrs. Stuker.
Yes. So this budget amendment is increasing some revenues and increasing some expense function categories. Basically, the revenues are increasing for the increase in building permits, nuisance collections, logging sales, and interest income. And the expenses are increasing. We've had repairs, overtime, equipment, insurance, computer services, and then some debt bond fees are all included in there.
Anybody in the audience have any questions concerning this budget amendment? Council, any thoughts or concerns?
No.
Entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I have a motion to close.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye?
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
Aye.
Your Honor, I have a motion to amend the current budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
All right, hearing passed. Next is a consideration of a sale of property locally known as 417 South Garfield Avenue, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions. Mr. Tislin.
This is a resale of the property at 417 South Garfield. Purchaser must ensure the property receives permits and meets codes for renovation as required and make necessary repairs prior to deed and occupancy, and all conditions of sale are met. Same conditions as previous for the property, electrical, plumbing, HVAC work brought up to code by licensed electrician. Off-street parking, sidewalk repaired as necessary, roof replacement and siding replacement or repair as necessary on the house and garage. Windows, repair, remove the back porch and damaged sill plates. All permits shall be received for all applicable work. Building permits shall be initiated within 60 days and substantially completed within 180 days of approval by council. An extension may be granted if significant progress is made. Shall provide a letter from a bank or financial institution that to the city verifying the purchaser has a minimum of $10,000 available through loan or personal finances. Failure to meet timeframes may result in forfeiture of sale with no refund. Quitclaim deed shall be transferred upon completion of the renovation. Currently, we have one bid in the amount of $5,000 from Plowman Properties LLC.
Okay. All right, let's have an auction. Is there anyone that would like to bid more than $5,000 for this property? You said $5,000, right? Okay. Going once? Anything more than 5,000? I saw you smile. Did you want a 5,500?
I think I'm okay.
Okay. Okay. That's the way I do auctions anyway. Going twice. Well, last time, going 3 times. Sold to Plowman Brothers.
I know, I just want to clap.
I
you
know,
at
I
auction.
wanna clap
was
too.
like, yes.
You already
this
have
is
a
it.
motion to close?
Yep, we got a motion to
Second.
close.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
Aye.
Your Honor, a motion to amend Exhibit C of resolution approving the sale of property locally known as 417 South Garfield Avenue, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions, and that the property be sold to Plowman Properties of Burlington, Iowa, in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
All right.
Your Honor, I have a resolution approving the sale of property locally known as 417 South Garfield, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
Aye.
Okay, you have yourself a property, you know the drill.
I will note, they purchased property in January. We did the inspection today and are transferring deed completed at 1211 Linden as well, so.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good to
thank
hear.
you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
your continued investment in town, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up, consideration of plans and specs for the 2026 Burlington Fire Station Number 3. Man, I'm looking forward to this one.
So I'll kick this one off. As you see in the crowd, we've invited Tad and TJ with Carl A. Nelson. So shared with Katie. Katie's office was the plans, the specs, the budget, all of those documents. So at this time, I suppose I'll invite Tad up to the microphone, to the podium, and entertain any questions you may have.
Great, thank you.
So.
Good to see everybody.
Welcome.
I'm going to give you guys an overview of kind of where we're at in the bid solicitation process and kind of the next key dates that are going to be coming up as far as bid opening and what you guys will see next. Before I do that, we've got, a 900-page specification manual and a 70-page plan set. There's a lot of information, and I will go through and talk about any and all of it, but I don't really know what your guys' interests are, or if you have questions. So maybe I thought we'll just start with that. If you have any, we can do that. And then before I am done, I'll give you guys an idea of where we're at in process and what to expect coming up here in the near future. So with that, questions, thoughts, comments? No dumb questions. I can probably answer anything.
This, bottom line, what are we looking at for cost?
So you're right. So I'm going to talk about two budgets. You've got an overall project budget. So that's everything. That's a turnkey out the door projection, which is probably what you're most interested in. That right now is sitting at 6.4 million. Okay. Now your construction costs, so this isn't, design fees and furniture and all the things that are in the overall project cost, going into this bid solicitation is just under 5.4 million. Okay. Now, in these numbers, when you go through this process, we've got certain contingencies that are here to safeguard, against unknown things. Some of this will go away once we get through bid contingencies. We'll carry, these are normally done in the form of a percentage, but we'll carry about 4% of the construction cost as a construction contingency. That'll be carried through the effort. So just want to make sure that you're aware that there, in these numbers are safeguards that protect the effort. We've got several unit prices to deal with soils and different things that are baked in that are kind of another form of protection, just more strategy going into these deals. So all in all, I think, we're sitting in pretty good shape. We've got what I feel to be a lot of interest. I mean, I think that the numbers we get, or you guys get, I think are in favorable buyer times, for buyers of construction. I think there's a lot of activity. I think there'd be a lot of bids, a lot of competition, which, construction's a funny thing. It's hard to know what it's worth. So I think you'll get a good buy. That's my hope anyway. So I don't really have any concerns to share on that front.
Any other questions?
I'd like to say that I appreciate the fact that you've all worked to really keep us in the loop as far as this whole
it's been good.
project
Nate's been
has
great.
gone and kept us. And I think that's part of the reason we don't have so many questions, because
Yeah.
we feel like we know more this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well said.
I also had the thought that you're in a perfect spot where the building's going to not be a disruption to the neighbors or anything else going around. Like, it's going to be a great spot to build a building without interfering with, traffic or other businesses or things around. You don't have to close down a road every day to get in and out of there.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to just get in there and get to work, which
Yeah.
I think is awesome.
Yeah, it is a nice site. Nice, that frontage road's helpful. Yeah. Yeah.
Generally, with a plan to specs hearing, we have some drawings of, that, we've all seen them, but that are generally part of the meeting.
I've been on this one time before, as far as the remote thing, and I can try and get back on and I can pull them up. I have them here too.
Yeah, I think you should, because
Okay.
there's the public that's seeing this for the first time that
Yep.
I'm sure would be interested.
You can try and do it from where you're at, Ted.
Well, he set me up last time, which, if it's easier for you two, Nate, we can use yours. If it's easier for you to get on. I'll have Nate do it. Or Chief, you gotta call me Matt.
Super cash. Just,
We've got to be friends.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I should call him Chief.
you're fine.
His wife calls him chief.
Chad, you want to come over here and show me which one you want to pull up first?
So why don't you just pull up the plan set, which would be that one right there.
Now we're making some headway now. There it is.
How do you go from one page to the next? You know? Is it scrolling? There we go. I'm gonna go to, just more of a page that's more representative of what's going on here.
If you want to just do it from there, Ted, Eric, move the microphone. And we can get you a chair even if you want.
No, this is good here. So this is a site plan that just shows the general layout of where the building is and related site paving around it. So this is nested in the, it'd be the south west corner of that lot that the city purchased. North is up on the drawing. Then let's go to a floor plan. Let's go to just a little bit bigger one. On the top part of the page, that's the apparatus bay where the engines and ambulances will park. If I scroll down to the next page, it's more of a zoomed in, blown up version of the more finished side of the living quarters of the station. They've got their bunk rooms and day area, and exercise room, and a nice training space to do work there, and office there. Pretty efficient layout. And then I don't know, there's a lot of this is just ceiling plans and finish plans. Elevation wise, we can go to the cover page, has some illustrations of what it looks like. So it's designed to look like a traditional brick fire station. Some of the signage and elements, I think they were trying to gel on what the downtown station looks like, which I think is nice. You guys have any questions in particular about the plan?
Square footage, how does it compare to the Summer Street station?
It'd be a little bit bigger. We're at, is it 6,400 here? No, 6,400 in the living side, a little over 10 total. The Station 2, it's got a bigger apparatus because they got 5 overhead doors on Station 2. So this is a little smaller out there, but it's a little bit bigger on the finish side. That's largely due to this one has a nice training room. If it wasn't for the training room, it'd almost be identical, I would say, on the living side. But I think this is a lot, knowing Station 2 and how they use it, this here's laid out a lot better where the square footage is more usable. There's square footage out at Station 2 that they're not using all that well just because of how it's laid out. Just how needs have changed since then till now. So not a lot bigger, a little bit, but a lot more functional. So a lot more bang for the buck when comparing the two.
The one thing I didn't think of till just now is, so the front of the building's facing the frontage road. Will that be all open, like pavement? Will it be like, there's not gonna be curb or whatever, they can just drive straight out, straight in? And no matter where you park around the building, it's just open?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll actually feel similar, probably more open than Station 2, but similar how Station 2 opens up onto Summer.
Right.
Similar, just replace Summer with the frontage road, and it'd be very similar to that.
Okay.
I think it sets back a little bit farther off the frontage road than what Station 2 does, but very similar to that. And one difference here is you can pull around back. I don't know, you can't do that at Station, no, you can. You can go around back to
Yeah, you
Station
can
2.
go around back.
Yeah, very similar to that. Yeah. More parking here. I think there's not very many spots at Station 2, like 10 or 12 spots. I think this has got about double that as far as just vehicle parking.
Well, we know how tight things are downtown.
Yeah. So,
Chief, the larger training area is designed in there because you plan on making that a training facility in the future, correct?
Correct, yeah, so as we scaled everything down from the original project, we still are trying to consider the future, our wants and our needs there. So there's not a training tower, however, on the backside, we still have room to develop that and space to grow. And that's also another part of that detached garage / storage is we're planning for that to be a multi-purpose storage and garage space for not only storing the vehicles that we currently have, but also preparing for the future in storage of training props and such. So to answer your question, ultimately, yes, we are preparing for the future. Hopefully we get to that point, but this project is dedicated mainly toward putting up a fire station for people to respond out of. Yep.
we've got, if that happens, we do have utilities in place to serve that, so, because they got to get under the drive. So we've got empty, pathways for electrical, things have been thought about to facilitate the addition of that simply. The other thing that I just think it's smart is the detached storage garage, that's generally like a garage at home. It's a wood frame detached structure, and it's really just for cold storage. So it made a lot more sense, to build square footage like that for that purpose than build that into a fire station. That's a heck of a lot more money to build that kind of square footage for that purpose. So it made a lot of sense to, you could build that for probably half the money for no more than you're doing with it. So that's, I think, works well, and I think it's a smart way to do it versus adding square footage to the part that's expensive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
So Ted, we received the sealed bids by May 28th. And so how long is the process as far as reviewing bids and then coming to us
So
with?
how that'll work is we'll open those bids here in this room on the 28th of May at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And I'll conduct that process. We'll field them. The bid letting will close abruptly at 2.
Sure.
And then, I don't know if I'll start it, there's 7 bid packages, by the way, so the project is broken into 7 components. So I'll either start at 1 or 7, depends on how I feel that day. And we'll go through those. I'll open one by one and read them aloud. And then right after that, It depends. I mean, all bets are off. You know, you never know exactly.
Sure.
There could be irregularity. There just could be things that part of what we'll do is circle back after that. There could be some phone calls. If there's a big delta between maybe the apparent low bid and the next, like, that could be concerning. So I never know what we're gonna get, but if
Okay.
there's anything like that, we'll have a couple days to kind of vet, you know, make sure that there wasn't an error made. You never know. But we'll get through that, and then I'll put together for you guys, it's a recommendation for award. It's a letter from Carl Nelson drafted by me that's gonna summarize the results of this whole effort, and that'll come to you for your work session on the 8th.
Okay,
So you won't be asked to do anything at that meeting, but you're gonna get updated on what happened. Here's what happened. And then here's our recommendation to move forward, which will largely be recommendations to award, to enter into a contract with those apparent low bidders, or, you know, whatever gets recommended. And then you'll have that, but you won't do anything until the 15th, the following meeting. And at that meeting on June 15th, that's when you would make a motion to award those, or not, whatever you decide to do. That'll be when you guys decide to award or not to those apparent low bidders as recommended. And then, assume for a second you do that. The 16th, the following day, there's a mechanism in these contracts, it's a notice of award. That's something that I've drafted or will draft on your guys' behalf. And that is what we send to these people who you guys made a motion the night before. And why that's important is because, you know, with the way material procurement is these days, just getting stuff and costs, just all of that, you know, it's a big sensitivity to contractors. So what we don't want is we don't want people not doing nothing, waiting for weeks for paperwork. So this notice of award it's a mechanism that allows them to start securing their downstream commitments. Get your subcontracts out to your parties at another tier, get your POs issued, get your materials going, get them secured. Don't sit around and let things go and move sideways. It causes problems. So that's essentially, in a more elegant form, what that letter tells them to do. And that's a mechanism in the agreement, and something we should leverage because it's going to be helpful. So that'll happen on the 16th, and then there's 7 to 10 days in there where you got payment performance bonds to secure. There'll be the form of agreement that your name's on to sign, John, for each one of these people, and that'll be going on in the background. Now, this isn't to alarm anyone, but there is something you just need to be aware of, and it's something that we're going to manage pretty closely, and I don't know the outcome of it yet. There is an issue starting to flare up related particularly to bar joist, this would be your roof structure, and it's being driven largely by the amount of steel that's going to the data center construction throughout the Midwest and the country. And so what's happening is there's huge projects buying massive quantities that has more money than everybody else. So everybody else gets stuck in line. And there's only a few manufacturers of these bar joists in the country. So it's one of those items that once we get through this bid solicitation process and we figure out who's providing that work, and more importantly, who the steel supplier is behind that person, we need to know exactly what we're up against with that. Because based on what I currently know, if some of those lead times hold true, it's gonna foul up the schedule that I put together. It's gonna extend things longer than we'd hoped.
okay.
So more to come on that, but more than anything, I just want you guys to know that there is that problem developing that's out there. We're aware of it, and I don't know the solution yet or how, the magnitude of it. May not be, you know, like I told Nate, their chief, that maybe it's less than ideal, but it doesn't warrant, we just accept it.
Sure.
Maybe the thing to do is just deal with it. Maybe it's a big enough magnitude where we gotta figure out a different way forward. Don't know.
Well, if you're aware of it, you're already ahead of the game
It's-
versus being unaware.
That's half the battle. What to do, don't know yet, but if
Okay.
anything.
Thank you, good answer. Any other questions, council? Anyone in the audience have any questions? Yeah, come on forward. Yeah, just give us your name and address and,
I'm Gary Hill at 803 Summer Street. I'm just curious is all, how you assess the winner of proposals that come in? Is that all based on a point system and where it's objective, or is it a subjective type evaluation of how that's done? And if it is, that's my background, you know, where I come. But if it's objective, is all of that laid out in advance so that you already know what the scoring criteria is between the two? I don't know how things like that work in a city council.
So for the, I'll answer if you guys are, so,
Yeah.
how it will work is the project's out for public bid, and there's defined scope of work that, depending on your trade, whether you're mechanically or plumbing, roofing, you bid that prescribed scope. And so they'll put their best foot forward from a price standpoint, so it's, you know, not a scoring thing in the sense of qualifications or anything like that. You bid a defined scope, there's a bid form that will be opened, and generally, it's the low bid, the least amount of money that can provide, that has their, you know, or can provide their payment and performance bond. That's another, it's a separate state-required thing. So if you can cover the scope, be the low price, and provide a performance and payment bond, that's generally what the council would approve based on that. Now, there's language in there that gives them a little bit of leeway and some discretion, but it's, you know, if you can do those things and can do the job, it's hard not to award to that bidder. Does that address your
That's
question?
great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thoughts or concerns? If there are none, entertain a motion. Or do you have anything else, Chief?
No, I don't. I don't have any questions. Just thanks for Eric and quickly pivoting and knowing how to work HDMI and a laptop
Right?
that's not his. Sorry, my apologies for not having those more readily available, but again, thanks for Eric and Tad for
Yeah.
pivoting there.
All right. You're good. Your Honor, I have a motion to close.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
Aye.
Your Honor, I have a resolution approving plans and specifications for the 2026 Burlington Fire Station Number 3.
Second.
Second. We should all-
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
Aye.
Okay, good deal. Next up is considerations and plans and specs for the 2026 Seal Coat Street Project. Mr. Hartman, come on up.
Good evening. So we've learned that we do have a project this year for our seal coat program, and we've targeted three main areas, as you see on the map. Contractors like to work in groups of areas instead of getting scattered all around town. So first off is the Burlington and Conrad areas off of Agency. It's been a long time since we've been in that neighborhood. We had extra traffic with the construction of Agency, and it's a nice neighborhood. It's got curb and gutter, so we'll be improving everything between those curb and gutters. Kind of some challenging access issues. We will require that contractor to phase that in 2 or 3 phases so that people don't have to navigate so far on foot to get to their homes. We did something similar in the Blackhawk and Crapo neighborhoods a couple years ago, when there's no alleys and no extra crossing streets. Maple and May Avenue in the middle of the map, unfortunately, those streets don't have any curb and gutter, but should be able to improve the driving surface there. And then on the south end of town between 12th and 15th and on Dunham and Hedge, we have areas that we'll be cleaning up that adjacent to where we did some storm sewer work. We've been fortunate. We've had the project go out for bid and get constructed in the springtime last couple of years, but will be a summer, fall construction this year. Shooting for just under $400,000 for the budget.
Okay, Council, or anyone in the audience have any concerns? These bids are due, what, June 23rd, you said? Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah, all
Thank
right.
you.
Audience, any questions or concerns? See anybody jumping up? Council, any questions or concerns?
Your Honor, I motion to close.
Second.
Thank you, Steve.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
Aye. Your Honor, I have a resolution approving plans and specifications for the 2026 Seal Coat Streets project.
Second.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
All right, that hits the end of our agenda for the night. So we'll go around and get final updates if you have any, and then we'll entertain a motion. Mr. Tislin, anything for development tonight?
Yeah, just want to remind everyone to check your yards. Grass can grow a little faster this time of year. We've had almost 300 nuisance cases this month alone so far this year. So tall grass, weeds, junk, trash, debris are the main ones. Just be aware of how your property is maintained. We'd rather have property owners, residents do it than us have to send a contractor.
It's not inexpensive for us to do it
No,
for them.
it's a lot of time and effort on staff and contractors. On the park side of things, parks are very busy, which is great. A lot of gatherings, weddings out in the parks this weekend. Just remind individuals that are wanting to reserve shelters and sites. That's done through our city website. It does require 8 days in advance so that we can plan and post those locations. But we do, if they're not reserved, they're first come, first served. But if people want to use them, try and go on our website or contact staff to help guide through that process. Flint Hills Golf Course has junior golf sign up going on now. So if you have kids that want to learn golf or get a little training on that, check out the Flint Hills Golf Course Facebook page for details on that. And then just wanted to end, lighting along the pathway in Riverside Park is complete. I think that looks great. It does light
That's
up the park.
beautiful.
When I was down there, there's some families and individuals is at dusk and the lights were coming on. We're still using the park, so appreciate the support and funding on that through council. So just get out, enjoy the parks, so while the weather's still nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Katie, anything from the clerk's office
No.
tonight? Okay. Mr. Hartman, anything else from Public Works, please?
I'll talk about Washington Street a little bit. Making progress over here on the west end as we finished up Fifth and Seventh Street intersections. We are planning to begin work here at Fourth Street just after the holiday and the bike races. It may be an entire intersection closure, or we may just close the portion of Washington south of City Hall initially. But I'll get staff and they'll share with council what the schedule's gonna be. We will always have access to the door on the east of the building. The construction does not go in front of that access. You'll have intermittent access on the west side door, and then the front door will have a short time of disruption with the entire sidewalk getting replaced, so. Not as fun as your stuff, Eric, but we'll try to get it done and.
It's looking good. Thank you, sir. Okay, Brittany from the library, come on up, Miss Jacobs. Enlighten us today.
141 years ago today, Philip Crapo, the Knights of Labor, and the city of Burlington had reason to celebrate because it was on May 18th, 1885, that we hosted our very first library-specific referendum to move us from a private library to a free public library for 17.5 cents a month. We taxed ourselves to all have access to a rich collection of resources, and here we are 141 years later, taxing ourselves a little bit more than 17.5 cents, but providing access to information for all. So here's to 141 more years. Next Monday, we will be closed for Memorial Day. We'll be back open on Tuesday at 9 a.m. And summer reading registration is open. So if you haven't yet registered to help us Reed to unlock trees to plant in our parks. Please do so.
Great.
We are aiming to unlock another 50 trees this summer to unlock in the parks. That's it.
Great.
Thank you so
Great
much.
stuff. Thank you. Chief Schaefer, anything? Nothing. All right, Chief Tubes?
Nothing more
Nothing else? Stephanie, Finance?
I don't have anything for finance,
Anything
and
for Chad? Any
Nope,
wisdom he wanted to impart on us?
nope, he didn't pass any on.
Jeez, okay. Council Rob, you have anything tonight?
Actually, today is my daughter Aurora's 16th birthday. I'm pretty excited about that.
Happy birthday to her.
Yesterday, and I want to highlight this because people don't know this is available. I rented out the Capitol Theater and we watched the movie Labyrinth, and she invited all her friends and family, and you can just rent out the whole theater and put her name on the marquee, and it's pretty reasonable to do so. While I was stalling, trying to give everybody time to get in there before I surprised her, I did a lap through all the parks to kind of throw her off the trail. Every shelter house, every playground, people were everywhere yesterday. The Horseshoe Pit, people were over there. At the big shelter house, they were there. By the lake, they were there. There were people down by the cabin and the band shell, and then I saw somebody grilling at the picnic table next to the lookout over there. We went through Dankwart, and the place was crawling with people. So every park, everywhere was full yesterday. Perkins Park, we went by, people were frisbee golfing there, and there was cars out at the shelter houses there. Wow, like I just, it's overwhelming how much we have to offer, and then people are taking advantage of all these wonderful things. So I thought that was pretty cool to drive around and see all the activity yesterday.
Noted. Mr. Scott, anything?
Yeah, welcome to 1965, Robert. I remember 1965 when we used to spend practically every weekend at the park, and it was hard to find a place to park because it was just lined, every side of the street was lined with cars.
I like it.
And picnic tables everywhere, and families getting together, and it was, that brings back fond memories. Another thing, they had a ribbon cutting at the fire department. I thought the chief might talk about this, but a ribbon cutting at the fire department for the expansion of their exercise room. And it was done by the construction trades class out at BHS. It took them a little over a year, is that right? A little over a year to do, and they've done a magnificent job. And one of the most interesting parts, for me anyway, was there's this huge thick brick wall that they had to take bricks out to put in a window. And it's a super thick wall. And Kyle Krieger was explaining a little bit how that process worked, but it overlooks the apparatus floor on the north side of the building. And I thought that was just extremely interesting. They had a great turnout. There was a big crowd there for the ribbon cutting. My part-time job at the senior center hauling cans was another accomplishment today. I don't know how they accumulate them so fast, but there were 20 bags of cans again this time. So that's a fun job to do. And I would like to see us put on as a discussion item how to deal with the overwhelming amount of dog doo in the downtown. I thought it was, I didn't think it was that big a deal when I walked out of the fire station after the ribbon cutting. And just as it got across the alley, on the sidewalk, there was a significant amount there. And I went home and I said, I got to thinking, we need to discuss this, we need to do something about it. And the thought kind of went away. And then I saw on Facebook where someone had taken a video along the railroad tracks, and it's like everybody in the downtown that has a dog is taking their dog there 4 or 5 times a day. I mean, it's very, very sad. It's sickening, and it reminds me of almost of LA and the problems they have with feces on the sidewalks. So I think we need to put that on as a discussion item, see how we're going to address it.
Yeah, I think
We have an ordinance.
Well, we do also have a dog park plan, but if people aren't picking up, a dog park down there off the Fifth and Valley parking lot it's not gonna do any good anyway, because it'll be overloaded. So it's something, I would agree with you, Tim. I received a call from a couple of businesses around the Burlington Apartments, and I went down there myself and picked it up. And then stopped in, and unfortunately the manager wasn't there, but, you know, the businesses have an obligation to patrol their sidewalk and maintain it, so maybe we'll get with the nuisance department and see what we can do, but I do think we ought to discuss it, because enforcement is gonna be the key. You know, I think there are bags down there, you just gotta get people to pick them up and use them, and then throw it in the appropriate trash can. Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay.
looks green. She looks a little green.
I would like to remind folks that we have a lot of folks coming from out of town for this weekend for the bicycle races. So it would be really nice if you pick the trash up around your neighborhood and cut your grass. And I know someone yelled at me about I needed to cut my grass, but it happens to be flowers right at the moment, so, but I will get it cut by the weekend, and I would just make people feel welcome in Burlington while they're here, because it's a wonderful opportunity to showcase our community and the things that we have to offer, and there aren't very many communities that have the river we have, so we need to celebrate that.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing tonight, thank you very much.
Just want to remind everybody, the best pancakes you'll ever have, and I'm not a Kiwanian for that matter, but I do consume these pancakes. That's, it's Saturday at, all morning, 6:30 is when it starts, and goes till about 11:30, 12 o'clock, depending on the crowd. And while you're downtown, you can pick up see the criterium races. It's a official kickoff to our summer celebration season. I would also say about the Riverfront Walk, because I live down that way, I'm down there all the time. It has been fun that we didn't have a direct announcement right away. We kind of let people discover it. And then every night you see more and more people later and later walking. And when you see, you know, families hand in hand walking down a sidewalk, by golly, it sure makes you proud to be involved with our town. So great job on that one. Looks really good. And so we'll just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward on this, on these different things. Have a great weekend, and
Be safe.
be safe. Is there?
Yeah,
Eric,
a motion to adjourn.
Eric, quit yelling at Kay about her grass, will you?
Right? Like,
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Your Honor,
Second.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, let's go.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
That's gonna make you wait.
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Wilson.
aye.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for your